to our first webinar. We're going to give it a minute here just to let everyone get logged on. And we'll get started in just a minute. All right, I think that might be everyone. So we will get started here right on time. All right, hello and welcome. My name is Mike McKee. I'm the Director of Admissions here at the Dunn School. Thank you for all those who are joining us on the webinar tonight. And welcome to our first in our series of Dunn discussions. Tonight's event is one I'm extremely excited about because we are featuring our students. The whole reason we are here and do what we do at Dunn School. Tonight's conversation will be a panel of, how many students we have? 5? Yeah, students tonight. They're going to introduce themselves shortly. These students represent the following categories. We have day students, boarding students. We have 9th graders, 10th graders, 11th graders, and 12th graders. We have domestic students, international students. We really tried our best to cover all of our bases here so that as many of our population as we can is represented with our students. So the conversation tonight will include me moderating the panel. I am losing my voice, so I apologize in advance, of students and asking them many of the questions that were submitted during the sign up for this event. In addition, we would like to encourage you to please ask as many questions as you may have using the Q&A function at the bottom of the Zoom screen. We'll try our best to answer those as we go through. But note, tonight's discussion will be held to 30 minutes and we plan on covering as many topics as possible. So without further ado, I'd like to have our students introduce themselves. If you guys can say hello and share your name, your grade, where you're from, your favorite class, and most memorable moment. We will start with Peppy.
Hi, my name's Peppy and this is my roommate. We're actually currently on the same screen because we're preparing to leave for Thanksgiving break, but you'll hear from her later. I'm in grade 12 and I'm originally from Finland, and my favorite class right now has got to be my art class. And my most memorable moment at Dunn was actually this fall through sports. I'd never played a team sport before and I was doing volleyball and we had this thing called senior night. And it was just a really lovable moment that I feel like I'm gonna look back on for futures to come. It was just really special to me. Paul, can you take it away?
Thank you. My name is Paul DeBoard. This is my second year at Dunn. I'm a junior. I live in San Francisco. And my favorite class is probably biology at the moment. And my favorite moment at Dunn was probably last year on all the outings we went on, such as like paintball, to the beach, all of our dorm dinners. So that was really fun. On to you, Aaliyah.
Hi, I'm Aaliyah. I'm a 12th grader and I'm also from San Francisco. My favorite class is my anatomy class. It's really fun and I really like my teacher. She makes everything super exciting to learn about the body. And my most memorable moment at Dunn is probably outdoor ed. I really liked camping. I've never done it before, so it was fun to do those over my 4 years being here and learning new skills. And that's on to you, Alex.
Hello, I'm Alexander Grenier. I'm a 10th grader. I'm a day student. I live about 10 minutes away from Dunn. And my favorite class, I would say, is history, probably. And my favorite moment at Dunn, I would say, happened quite recently. My cross-country team got to go to the CIF championships. And the race itself was a lot of fun, but it was I also had a great time with my friends on the team. I'm definitely going to remember that for years to come. And then next, you'll hear from Olivia.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm in 9th grade. I'm from the Bay Area. My favorite class is definitely English. I think my most memorable moment at Dunn is definitely getting to know my best friend Cadence. I feel like we get along so well, and it's really nice to get to know somebody that you're really close with.
All right. Thank you guys. And thank you for taking the time tonight to do this with us. So we have a bunch of questions that were pre-submitted. I'm going to lob those out to you guys. I'm also keeping an eye on the Q&A. But I think to start, I thought a fun question to kind of popcorn around. Maybe we go in reverse order. Olivia, maybe we'll start with you. If you have to describe Dunn in only one word, what would that be?
I think I would describe Dunn as inclusive. I feel like the environment is so great to really become yourself and really get along with your peers. I feel like it's a really nurturing environment.
Yeah. Alex, what about you?
It's a hard question. I think I'd say bold. Dunn really challenges you to step outside your comfort zone, try new things, and grow as a person, as a contributor to the community. So I'd say bold.
Awesome. And then we have Aaliyah.
I said encouraging. I think Dunn School really encourages you to become your best self and to be your best self, however you see that. Dunn has always encouraged me in my past 4 years being here. I think it really helped me become the person I am today.
Wonderful. Thank you, Aaliyah. And Paul, what about you?
I would say variety. There's just so much to do here on the weekends. You're never bored, whether it be just outings or all the sports that we have here or all the enrichments that are offered. So yeah.
I see Alex shaking his head because it's hard to keep Alex off this campus and after hours, even though he's a day student. But and then Peppy, what about you? If you could describe it in one word.
I think my word would have to be community, because we are such like a small campus. I think everyone just gets along so well, and there's always this sense of community and belonging. And I think that's just something that makes Dunn really special.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. And Peppy, I'm actually going to keep it with you for our next question. Lots of people on our call, this is on our webinar, this is their first experience with boarding school. Maybe their son or daughter is looking at the school and don't really even know what it looks like. So can you just take some time and explain what does a typical day at Dunn School look like from when you wake up to the end of the evening?
Yeah, of course. So I wake up kind of late, but breakfast starts at 7, and then school for us starts at 8:40. So in that time, you kind of have time to get ready and then get ready for school. And then we have 6 classes a day. So you start at 8:40, and then you have 2 classes. Then we have this small period for advisory, which is a nice snack break in between. And I always like to talk to everyone, which is something that you really don't get a lot anywhere else. And then after that, you have 2 more classes. Then we have lunch, and then you have 2 more classes after that. And then that's kind of the end of the school day at around 3:05. And then we have, in addition to that, sometimes there's a period after for like committees, clubs and advisories, which is like this carved out time in the day to just really do something together with your community, do something great for everyone. And then after that, you have, depending on when you get out, sports starts at 4. And there's a ton to pick from. I play soccer right now. It's really nice. And that goes until 5:30. And then at 5:30, you have dinner. And then from 5:30 to 7:30, there's like this 2-hour time before check-in. So you can, honestly, that's your free time. You're free to do whatever. I usually hang out with my roommate. And then you have check-in, and then you have so we all like get in our dorms and you make sure you're here. And then after check-in, you have half an hour to kind of get ready. And then we have study hall from, for us right now, it's from 8 to 10. And then for lower grades, it's from 8 to 9:30. And that's like kind of your carved out time to like do your homework and get all your work done. And then after that, you have half an hour free time, and then it's time to get ready for bed. And that's just kind of the day laid out.
Awesome. That's exactly what I was looking for, Peppy. Thank you. I failed to acknowledge Britt Plant, who's our associate director on the webinar as well. Hi, Britt. Britt's going to help us out with answering questions that come through either chat or Q&A as well. So this next question, what's so funny, Aaliyah? I'm actually going to put this one towards Aaliyah and Paul because you guys are, older students and have experience here from the younger years and pre-COVID. But what's been like the most surprising part of your Dunn experience? And I know that's kind of, you might need a second to think about it, but what's something that maybe you weren't expecting and yeah, the most surprising part?
Oh, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I think for me, the most surprising was probably living in the dorms. For the girls, we live in one dorm, and it's freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors all together. I think when I first toured, I was like, oh, I don't think I will be able to live in a dorm with all those girls, but I really like it. I've made Lynette like my closest friends here, and it's just a great like bonding experience for me. And I think that's the most surprising for me because I didn't expect this much friendship and unity in like one building. So yeah, that's mine.
Awesome, thanks. Paul?
I think I was in the same situation as Aaliyah, especially even though this is my second year at the beginning of this year too, because I still had my friends from last year, but some of my main friends were international students that were only here for about 1 year and they left. So I was like, oh, I was thinking about like making more friends and stuff. And then a bunch of new international students came and a bunch of new students came and it just clicked like that. It was really easy to make new friends because we're all in the same dorm here and you spend a lot of time with each other.
Thank you, Paul. Alex, I'm going to send this one over your way. And the question is, how do you manage the many different offerings and programs that are at Dunn? Like, how do you make the room in your schedule and make time for it all?
Well, there are a lot of programs at Dunn that are interesting outside of the classes, sports, clubs, and different opportunities to do community service and be involved in the community. And Dunn really supports students in being involved with all the opportunities they want to be involved with. And I definitely have to work to manage it all, but I think Dunn's very rewarding. I work hard on my academics, my extracurriculars, and then I get to spend time with my friends. I get to have a lot of fun on weekends, and there's a good balance at Dunn. So I find that I'm really able to manage everything well and able to enjoy my school days.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Alex. Olivia, you're new to Dunn School. You are also a day student. How does the day student integration and experience kind of look at Dunn School? You know, have you gotten to know boarding students? How involved do you feel with the community?
I feel like as being a day student and also being a new student, it's definitely easier to become more a part of the community when you're involved in clubs and committees and sports, because then you have that extra way of seeing your friends and being able to hang out. Also, staying for dinner, it really helps you become more feeling like you're a boarder. Yeah.
Yeah, great. This one I'm going to start with you, Peppy, and then anyone else who wants to jump on it after Peppy answers the question, feel free to kind of give your advice or your input. The question is, what would your advice be to a new student in getting their bearings during the first couple of weeks at Dunn School? You know, it's a big leap to go to a boarding school. Yeah, what would be your advice for those first couple of weeks?
Yeah, like you said, it is a big change. As someone who came from like a whole nother country, it was a big change. And I think my one piece of advice would be to not be too hard on yourself, because when you're in a new environment, it takes time to get adjusted to that environment. But I promise you that you will get adjusted. It's just all about keeping that good attitude and not being too tough on yourself if something goes wrong or not your way. It's just all about the mindset that you have about it.
Awesome. Anyone else want to?
Yeah, I would say use your resources. Here at Dunn, there's a lot of people that are here to help you out. You have your advisor, there are a bunch of people on staff that are really amazing. And also we have the PeerWig program. So all new students are assigned what's called a PeerWig, which is an older student that is there to walk you around for the first few weeks to help you figure everything out and learn the lay of the land. So I would say rely on all the resources that are there for you.
Awesome. Here's one, and maybe we'll go to Alex and then Aaliyah if you want to talk to this too, you get a day student perspective and a boarding student perspective. What is the campus culture like? If you had to describe the culture of our students and what it just, you know, what's the vibe, what's the culture? Yeah, Alex, we'll start with you.
Culture is very open. Right when you step on campus, somebody's going to come up to you, say hi, introduce themselves, give you a fist bump. And that's what I like about Dunn. Immediately, you start making connections. And the first person who introduces themselves will introduce you to their friends. And soon enough, you'll know everybody's name on campus. And as regards to being a day student, at first I wasn't sure if I thought there'd be maybe a divide between day students and boarding students. There isn't at all. There are lots of activities on the weekends for both day and boarding students. So I'm at Dunn really all the time. I eat sometimes 3 meals at Dunn. So I think I'm very involved. There are many opportunities for all students to be involved. There are activities all the time. There are trips to cities like Santa Barbara, Santa Maria, to the beach, surfing trips. There are concerts that students put on. There are always events going on at Dunn, so you can be very involved. And then when you just want some quiet time, Dunn has a beautiful campus. You can go on a walk. You can enjoy the nature in this area. So it's great. I really like it.
Thank you, Alex. Aaliyah, anything to add to that?
Not
The
really.
culture and the vibe.
Alexander kind of got all the parts. Kind of what he was saying is just Dunn is so open, and the vibe and community space is just unlike any place I've ever been. I think I have friends that are like freshmen, I have junior friends, I have kind of like, I mingle with everyone pretty much. I think that's the one thing about Dunn is that there is no like, oh, upperclassmen, lower, like underclassmen kind of divide. I think we all are together, and like meeting my teachers and seeing my teachers on the weekends, the teachers that live here and their families. I think that's also something unique about our campus culture, is that we have a faculty who live on campus, and getting to see them and help them with their stuff. And yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Olivia, I'm going to ask this next one for you. And Alex touched on this, but I think we need to dive a little bit deeper. What is the food like at Dunn School?
Well, as a vegetarian, there are a lot of options, which I think is really cool because I have been to a public school before and it is not great, the food, but the food at Dunn is so awesome. There's so many options. They have vegan food, vegetarian food, they have food for people who do eat meat. So, yeah, it's very open. They have so many good selections, and you can eat any meal there. You can eat breakfast, you can eat lunch, you can eat dinner, and there's great snacks too. And yeah, because so if you want to put in a request, you can.
Yeah, I think one of the things we talk about a lot is the fact that it is open all day, and you see kids running in there grabbing food in between classes or things like that, really trying to make it feel like your kitchen at home, where there's always food, it's always someone to say hello to you. Let's see. Anyone could answer this one, so just unmute yourself. I'm going to go that route with this one. Outdoor education trips. We know they were impacted by COVID, but they happened 2 years ago. They happened this year. We had some form of them during COVID last year when we were in person. Can you guys talk a little bit about like your favorite experience? Where did you go? What did it look like? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Was it hard? Was it, so yeah, Paul, I see you unmuted. Maybe we'll start with you.
Yeah, of course. So this is my second year at Dunn, and due to COVID, we didn't have the outdoor education trips last year. So I was a little apprehensive. I didn't really know what was going to happen. I didn't know what to expect. But I went to Joshua Tree this year with my grade, did a lot of hiking, and it was really fun. They pushed us out of our comfort zone, but all in all, it was really fun and worth it.
Great. Anyone else have an outdoor education? Yeah, go ahead, guys.
Yeah, I can jump in on that. I came halfway through last year, but luckily I still got to go on an outdoor ed trip, and that was like our whole class, and we went just really near here, but it was still like a unique experience that I haven't had before. But I think this year was really what stood out to me the most. With my group, we went to Channel Islands, which is the islands right off of Santa Barbara. And we camped there for a few days, and we did things like hiking and sightseeing, and then we did some snorkeling as well as some cave kayaking, which was kind of scary, but we had the best time ever, and I think that's something that's a really big memorable part of my Dunn School experience as a whole.
Yeah, great. So we had a question come through, guys, and this is probably best for the boarding students on the call, because it was like the questions about getting home during breaks and how often are breaks, how do you guys handle getting home? Peppy, I think actually being an international student and not being able to, quickly fly home, or, if you can talk about what you typically do during breaks as well. But yeah, if the boarding students can unmute themselves and talk about that a little bit, thank you.
Yeah. Oh,
Go ahead, Paul.
All right. So yeah, a lot of boarding students live in the LA area or near there. So if they're pretty close, then yeah, they can go home. Most of the boarding students live in the Bay Area, which is not too far, but it's a good 5-hour, 6-hour drive away. So usually they stick on campus to experience all the fun activities, but those who live pretty close, yeah, they can go back home for the weekend. They check out.
Yeah, and I can add to that. So over breaks last year, seeing as my family is pretty far away, that you make so many friends here, especially as a boarder, that you can ask any one of them. And I actually went home with one of my friends last spring break that we had, which was really nice, and that was easy. But now this upcoming break, I'm actually flying to Florida. But just the transportation that Dunn provides you to places that you need to get to is really helpful. And it's something that I will be utilizing a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, Peppy. Yeah, and our dorms do close down during break, so if students can't find somewhere to go, or we try our best to match them up with a student to go to a local student's home, or we also work with some homestay programs if a student can't travel and there's no other options. Let's see, where was I going to go next? Let's get real for a minute. What was the most challenging part of starting at a new school and coming to Dunn School? So what was the you found the hardest? Maybe Olivia, we'll start with you, because you not only started a new school, you guys moved into a new house here in Los Olivos too. So Olivia, we'll start with you, and then if anyone else wants to chime in after Olivia.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. It's definitely intimidating at first because I didn't really know what to expect, especially since that I wouldn't fit in. But it was completely the opposite. I met people who were that were like me, and we connected, and it definitely wasn't scary, and everyone was so nice. And I feel like having the peer wigs really helps, because I definitely didn't know my way around at first, but once she showed me around, I was like really comfortable, and yeah, it just made me feel like at home.
Thank you, Olivia. Anyone else want to chime in of what the hardest part of adjusting to Dunn School was? No, I guess it was easy for all you guys. No. Peppy, Aaliyah?
I think for me, the hardest part was I never really went off and like lived away from my family or done overnight trips or anything. So I think the hardest part for me was just being in a room or like living in a dorm without my parents, or like seeing my parents all the time. I think that was my most challenging part, was like adjusting to not having my parents with me 24/7 or picking me up after school. But I got used to it after like 2 weeks. I kind of got into like the gist of things, and having other people who are also going through that and also are missing their parents was really helpful, because we kind of bonded over being like with each other and not with our families. So
Awesome. Sorry, but this is another one for the boarding students, so apologize to Alex and Olivia. But the question is about weekends, and if you could talk about, what do weekends look like on campus? Do you go off campus? Do you stay on campus? Yeah, just what's a typical weekend look like? If you want to use examples from the past couple of weekends, feel free to do that too.
Yeah. So a regular weekend check-in for breakfast is from 9 to 11. And then you have the rest of the day. There's no other mandatory activities, just to hang out, relax, and then check in back to the dorm is at 10:30 on Fridays and Saturdays. And during the weekend, you are allowed to go off campus with day students / parents, or after you check out. But yeah, you can really do whatever you want on the weekends.
Peppy, Aaliyah, anything to add there?
Yeah, well, I mean, I can add, last weekend, actually, there's always a bunch of trips, like I think it was said before, but last weekend there was a carnival in this like small little town really close to us. And Dunn School actually organized like these little vans to take a ton of us who wanted to go there. And we just had spent the whole night until we had to be back on campus by 10. We just spent the whole night there, and I think I had so much fun. I've never actually been to carnival fair like that. And not only were there people like boarding students, but you also would see your like day student friends who'd be there with their friends, and then that way you met even more people. And that's just like one example. And another one, actually, during Halloween, there was a haunted house that we went to. Same thing.
That was scary.
But it was scary.
You guys didn't mention my favorite part of last weekend, which was the barn dance. That was quite the scene. Looked like a lot of fun. I saw, do you guys want to talk about that?
I wasn't there, but I missed out. There was bull riding. I wish I was there for the mechanical bull. But and there was also a line dance teacher.
There was a teacher from, I think it was a local dance academy, because I know some of my dancer friends knew her, and she was teaching us all these line dances. It was just so fun, and it lasted the whole night. And we actually organized, there's multiple events like dances like these that kind of include the whole community, which is something that I've found really enjoyable and special.
Yeah. Awesome. The next question is around like learning support at Dunn School. So some people on the call might receive some sort of learning support at their current school. Maybe Paul, Leah, if you guys can touch on what learning strategies looks like at Dunn School and how you use it throughout your day, and what that looks like.
Yeah, I can go first. So I'm an executive group, which is instead of one-on-one with the learning specialist, it's you and maybe another person, or more of a group setting. I've been doing that since my freshman year, and it's been really helpful to be able to bounce ideas off of other people and get support from my teacher, who is helping me. And I do my homework. It's like built into my schedule. So I usually use it as like one of my free periods, and I do all my work, so I won't have homework for study hall in the next, like later on. But it's also time for me to figure out how to take notes and how to advocate for myself in my classes. It's really helped me now as a senior. I'm not uncomfortable to go up to my teachers and ask them like for extra help or extra support. I think the Learning Strategies program does a really great job of helping us students figure out kind of our learning style and how we learn.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul. Yeah.
So I'm in the normal LS. So it's a one-on-one, and my advisor is also my LS teacher. And really, they're just there to help you out with anything you need. They help you with your homework. I use that period to get a lot of my homework done. It really helps me. They also help you with your organization, planning out your homework schedule, and they'll email teachers if you need help with any classes or any concerns that you have. So yeah, they're just really there to guide you and help you along the way.
Paul, if you could stay unmuted for a second. A lot of students might not be coming from a school like Dunn that understands learning differences, celebrates neurodiversity. Dunn's been doing it for 50 years. I guess some students worry that there's like a stigma attached with getting support at a school. Can you just speak to that? Do you feel like there is at Dunn School, or?
No, I don't think there's any stigma around getting the extra help from the LS program at Dunn. A lot of people are in this program, and everyone's nobody hates on it at all. Everyone's very accepting, and yeah, there's no stigma around it at all.
Yeah. Thank you. So we have 1 more minute left here, and I want to end on a question that I would like all of you to answer. I'll give you a second after I ask it. The question is, when did you know Dunn School was your school? When did you know that this was the place for you? What was that kind of moment, either in the search or in the visit, or maybe it was when you got here that you said, okay, this is my place. So Olivia, we'll start with you, and then Alex, Paul, and then we'll go up to Pepe and Aaliyah.
I feel like the moment when I kind of knew like Dunn School was definitely the school for me was definitely like when I got to see it in person. Um, I loved the outdoor environment, and I feel like when I saw the classrooms and when I first like got to do English discussions, which I love doing English discussions because I love to talk about books. Um, I feel like that's when I really knew this was the school for me because it was the exact type of classroom environment that I felt like I needed. And it provided, yeah, exactly what type of experience I wanted.
Great, Alex.
Yeah, I've realized Dunn was the right place for me pretty quickly. School previously, I've always enjoyed school, but I haven't necessarily, wanted to spend all my time at school. At Dunn, I come here on the weekends. I stay oftentimes for dinner pretty late into the night. I don't want to leave because I have so many great friends at Dunn. There's so many great programs at Dunn. Uh, I love the concerts that happen at Dunn. Students play music, all the events. So that's why I know Dunn's the place for me, is because I just want to stay here and have fun.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. Paul, go ahead.
Yeah, of course. I learned about Dunn because my dad went here, and so yeah, that's how I found out about Dunn. But as soon as I went onto the website and I took the virtual tour, it was amazing. And then I came here, and it was even 10 times better. I was just like so amazed by the campus, and I looked at the classrooms and the classroom size comparison to the teacher, so student to teacher ratio, and they're very small classes, which really helps me with my organization. So yeah, I just fell in love with this place immediately.
Thank you, Paul. Peppy and Aaliyah, you guys are last.
I can go first. I think I knew Dunn was the place for me on my tour. I was taking my tour around and a whole bunch of people were coming up and introducing themselves to me, and they were just really open. And out of all the other schools I was touring at the time, no one was really like coming up and introducing themselves or talking. Like they were just kind of staring and just watching you walk by. But like when I went into classrooms, the teachers stopped their class to have a conversation with me to like explain what was happening. And I liked how how Dunn was really open and just like helping you understand what they do and how everything was working, which it made me feel like a part of the community while I was visiting. So I was like, I know this is the place I wanted to be at.
Yeah. I think for me, my moment was when I had my interview back in Finland, because I didn't really get the opportunity to visit in person, and kind of the only like view I had was from the internet until I had an interview with the woman who's actually my advisor now. And I think it was her that kind of convinced me, because she made it seem like such like a personal experience. Like she was genuinely interested in me, and it wasn't just like, like how interviews are like back and forth. And I think that it just made me feel so like wanted and included, and I think that was when I knew that that's where I wanted to be.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for hopping on this tonight. To everyone who attended as attendees, thank you very much. Hope this was useful and you found this as a useful time, and that you got some information about Dunn School that maybe you hadn't before. For all of our attendees, please be in touch with a member of the admission staff if you need to schedule an interview. Our application deadline is February 1st. I know we didn't get to every single question that we wanted to tonight, so we will do our best to follow up with any attendees who had questions that we didn't get to make sure you do have answers to those. Students, thank you again. You're wonderful. We'll see you at breakfast tomorrow. Everyone have a good night. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Great job. Nice job. We still have some families that are on. They're just signing off, Mike. I just responded in the chat about mental health. It's something that Dunn takes really seriously. I dropped in my email address if you want to be in touch with myself or Mike. And Mike, please add anything else that you might want to touch upon
Yeah,
in
that
regards to
sounds.
mental health. Yeah.
You mean right now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, emotional wellness is one of the core values of Dunn School, and we take it very seriously. We think if a student is struggling in class, it might not always be that they're just not picking up the material. There might be something else going on. So we start our support network with our advisee program. All of our students have a faculty advisor that they meet with every day. First thing in the morning, they check before going to class, check in on their, how you doing emotionally, socially, academically? Is there anything we need to talk about? And then kind of it's layered also with our health office, and we have plenty of counselors who come to campus as well to meet with our students. We're actually in the process of hiring a full-time on-campus counselor as well that our students can use as a resource. That individual will also put in some programming throughout the school. But it's something, especially coming out of COVID, that we're recognizing that needs even more attention and given to it. So yeah, happy to answer any more questions about that. Thank you, Britt.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks for joining.
Bye, everyone.